I Googled the top organizational tips, and today we're going to compare home organization tips to how we do bookkeeping. This video is sponsored by the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit. This is an essential toolkit of videos, questions, samples, and resources to help you set up a bookkeeping system and stay on top of it for your small business. The Bookkeeping Foundation Kit is $77, and you can purchase it by clicking the link in the description below. As a bonus, I'm also offering 30 days free inside my private virtual community. That way you can have support from me and my other clients as you work through the materials. I have hours of live content and tutorials already in the group, and I go live twice a month for more Q&A and financial organization tips. I also host co-working sessions on Zoom that are exclusively available to members of the community. These are kind of like a study hall where you can work silently alongside me on camera, or even bring questions and get support from me on the call. Now let's talk about the topic of this video, which is me taking home organization tips and teaching you how to use them for your financial organization, aka your business bookkeeping. I only found one article from a major magazine source that had actual tips instead of a list of products that you can buy to organize your home. And that article was from Better Homes and Gardens, published in 2023. I find that this is extremely helpful for folks to do who might be good at organization in other areas of their life, but still find it difficult to organize and track their finances. It's one and the same. Now let's go through the Better Homes and Gardens tips that was published on May 9th, 2023 by Mary Cornetta. We're going to go down these one by one. I'm going to talk about how this relates to your bookkeeping system. The first tip is to do a little bit at a time. Now this is especially true if you've got a messy house and if you've got messy books or no books at all. If you have a big accounting project, like a catch-up project, that's where we have multiple months or even years of bookkeeping to get done. You have a backlog accounting, that's what I call it, and I do that service for people, but the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit is actually set up if you have a catch-up accounting project that you want to do yourself. I've designed the kit especially for you too. Doing a little bit at a time is going to give your brain the quick dopamine hit that it needs to want to come back and to keep doing this work. Doing a little bit at a time is so good for bookkeeping and having a system of financial organization, because if it's only a little bit that you have to accomplish and you check off that task, that is going to give your brain some good dopamine, and you're going to come back and keep doing that. The next tip is to make declutter dates. Now, I think they were talking about establishing a date with yourself or your house to do some decluttering. Just like if you were in a romantic partnership or relationship with another person and you wanted to have a set routine or schedule of dating them, whether that's a spouse or you're single and on the dating scene, you want to get to know somebody. You want to develop the relationship, get to know them better, and having a date with that person is time for you to focus on each other, right? Making a declutter date for your bookkeeping can also help you build that relationship to your bookkeeping system, to your finances. The more time you spend doing your bookkeeping and over a period of time, not in one go, the better off you're going to be. The better your system is going to be, the better you understand your numbers and your data, which we know is very important to running a business, knowing your numbers. Their next tip is to prioritize, because just like if we have things we use in our home every day, they don't need to be up in the attic. Now, if you use Christmas lights once a year and then you put them up in the attic, that's lower of a priority. It's something that needs to be organized and accessible in your home. But the same way that we prioritize things in our home that we use every day, your bookkeeping needs to be a priority for you and your business. If you have a day where you do business admin work every week or every month, spend time during the day on your admin work doing your bookkeeping. It needs to be a priority because it's vital that every business has a set of books. Bookkeeping is how we get ready for our tax return each year. Bookkeeping is how we set and achieve our business goals. It is necessary and vital for you to have bookkeeping for your business. Therefore, it needs to be a priority. One of my favorite tips that Better Homes and Gardens gave for home organization was to sort everything into smaller containers and to label everything like it's your job. Now, I teach my system of sorting and labeling files digitally or physically if you want to keep physical files and paperwork. I teach you my system on keeping your receipts and your financial paperwork organized in my free guide called Chaos to Calm. That is linked in the description. You can download it. It's a PDF and it teaches you how I sort my receipts for my business and how I sort all of my clients' receipts. Because if you're my bookkeeping client, part of the work I do for you is to manage your paperwork and your receipts. So I can teach you how to sort things into files. I can teach you how to label files so that you can easily reference them. But you don't have to necessarily use my system. You need a system to sort and file everything away and name everything the way that you can reference it later so that you know where to find things. You know what it means when you look at a file name or a folder. You know exactly what's going on in there. One of my favorite tips for bookkeeping, home organization in general is habit stacking. You might have heard this before, especially if you're someone who's neurodivergent. This can be a little bit of a hack for organizing or keeping up with a routine for something new that you want to do. Habit stacking is whenever you take something new that you want to add into your routine and you combine it with another task that you're already doing on a consistent basis. For me, I have pets and I give them their flea meds within the first 5 days of the month. The other thing that I do in the first 5 days of the month that is stacked on top of that habit is to change my air filter. Those two tasks are stacked for me. They are combined, they are linked up. If I have done one, then I know I've done the other because I make sure to do them at the same time and they're just automatically linked in my mind because I've stacked those habits. That means that I get that done every single month and it's really important for my pets to have flea protection, and it's important that my air filter is cleaned out because we have all of the pets and we run our AC pretty consistently here in Louisiana in the summer. So if you can find a way to stack a bookkeeping habit like going through your receipts or reconciling your bank account, if you can stack those habits onto something that you're already doing on a weekly or monthly basis, then you can do those at the same time and make sure that your bookkeeping actually gets done and is a priority. The last tip that Better Homes and Gardens I wanted to pull out of their article was to set a timer. And I call this setting a time and setting a timer because once again, going back to the idea of dating your books or dating your finances, having a dedicated time to sit down and build that relationship to your bookkeeping system, setting a time on your calendar, that's what I have to do. If I set a time on my calendar, then I get notifications about it. I know exactly when it is. I know what's coming up. That time is blocked out. So if somebody else needs something from me at that time, I can say, I'm either going to have to move that or I can just tell them no, like I'm not available at that time. I have something already planned that I want to do. So setting a timer and keeping a good calendar system is a great tip to make sure that you stay on top of the bookkeeping task. And then setting a timer is super important. I, for one, am someone who will go down the rabbit hole in my clients' bookkeeping, especially if it's a backlog project. If I am playing catch up with several years worth of bookkeeping, it can take me some time to get through that. Part of me wants to sit down and bang it all out in one go, and that is just not going to serve me. I will get burnt out, and that it won't be good for anybody, especially me. So instead of burning myself out, I set a timer. And like I told you before, I use the Pomodoro timer method, which is 25 minutes of work and 5 minutes of rest alternating. And that allows me to take short breaks to kind of recharge my brain a little bit. But then I also just don't spend the entire day doing certain projects for work like I might have done a couple of years ago working at a job. Setting a timer is super helpful to me also because I tend to be a little time blind. If you ever have the feeling that you're like working and a couple hours later you look up and you realize it's suddenly like dark outside, if that's ever happened to you, that is time blindness. And if that happens, setting a timer and some sort of alarm to notify yourself of, okay, 30 minutes has passed, go take your break now, that can help you stick to the tasks that you need to be doing for your bookkeeping, not burn out or overwork yourself, have more consistent bookkeeping practices in your business. And now I want to go into what I don't think is going to work for your organization and your bookkeeping system. Number one is bribing yourself. Now, this was a tip that I saw in a couple of places about home organization. And whether it's home organization or setting up a bookkeeping system or financial organization, I just don't think bribing yourself is going to work. For me, like I'm an adult woman, like if I want something, I just go get it. I'm going to make sure that I get the thing no matter what. And me telling myself I need to get something done beforehand usually doesn't stop me. It's just silly. Like, that has never worked for me to like bribe myself into something. Usually it's the case that I know if I am sitting down to crochet or read or do some other hobby like playing video games, but I have chores to do, what I do first is the chores, because I know that I'm going to just get time blind. I'm going to work through crocheting, reading, video games, anything else that is more pleasurable, leaving myself tired, burnt out, and not wanting to do the chore. So it's not a bribe for myself. It's just knowing my brain well enough that, oh, if I get this done now, then it'll actually get done. And yes, I can go do the pleasurable thing whenever I want to do or something that I enjoy doing. But I also enjoy like having chores done, having a clean house, and checking things off of my to-do list. So bribing myself does not work, and that's not what I'm doing whenever I say I need to do my chores first before I sit down and start reading and get completely tired and not willing to do the chore later today. Another thing that I see a lot when I work with clients, especially folks that are using QuickBooks Online, which, by the way, QuickBooks Online is not a user-friendly environment for the layperson. It is built for accountants, and they let anybody use it if you pay them for the subscription fee. But I get sick of hearing people say that they're not good enough, or they're not smart enough, or they're not good with numbers, or they failed out of math class. And so that's why they just can't do this work well. They can't learn how to do it. They're always making mistakes. And therefore, they just have a hard time. They struggle with doing it, and then they procrastinate and avoid it because of those reasons. Telling yourself that you're not good enough or smart enough or good with numbers is not the way to think about yourself if you want to actually work on your numbers and work on your finances. That is a thought that is going to stop that behavior, right? So instead of telling yourself that you're not good with math or numbers or anything like that, try turning it around. What is a task that you do or a project that you've taken care of in the past that you did successfully without a lot of procrastination, without a lot of mind drama? What was that project that you did? How were you able to accomplish it? What were you thinking about yourself when you sat down to do that work? Because it is your thoughts and your beliefs about yourself that are the most important thing when you want to develop a new consistent habit like bookkeeping. And finally, I hate the throwaway culture that we are in nowadays. It is really disgusting, and I try myself to not participate in any of the discourse where it's like, oh, let's cancel these people, or these people are beyond fixing, or beyond things are beyond resolution. I just don't want to participate in that at all. So it is the same thing for me with someone's bookkeeping. If you come to me and you have a messy set of books that is just all sorts of wrong, I kind of see that as a fun challenge. I'm like, there's no set of books that I've come across that I have not been able to fix in the past. It is a problem to be solved. It can be solved. It's just a set of numbers and data that can be manipulated to be accurate and to be correct, at least according to the tax laws. And so thinking that you have a set of books that is beyond repair and you just need to start over from scratch, I don't want you to give into that, because that is also going to lead you down into procrastination and avoidance of that project. Thinking, I just need to do away with all the old stuff because it's wrong and come up with a new set of books. That is a huge accomplishment to make. You might think that it is going to be easier to just do away with the incorrect set of books and start over from scratch, but I probably would say it's just as much work, if not more, because the old set of books has to be filed on a tax return somewhere if it hasn't already been. And if you are wanting to set up a new set of bookkeeping, that means that you have to create a whole new chart of accounts. You need to, import all of your customer list and client list and products and services and set up all of your automations again. It is just simply not the case that that's going to be easier. And I think somewhere deep down, you probably know that. So thinking that something is not fixable, that it is beyond repair, is not going to get you where you want to be in your bookkeeping, in your financial system. So instead of just throwing everything away that you've already done, how about we work on some small routines and habit stacking? We create some good, healthy financial habits for you, and then we just adjust things along the way. Like I said before, you don't have to spend a lot of time on your bookkeeping to make some serious headway in it. Once you get into the groove of things too, I find that me and all my clients really get addicted to there's little wins that we can have whenever we're doing our bookkeeping. That's just it picks up momentum once you start. So you need to be able to start, and it's better to start with a set of bookkeeping and data that already exists, even if it's wrong, than starting with a clean slate and a whole fresh new set of books that don't exist. I mean, it's just no data whatsoever. I find it's easier to work with data that's wrong and to manipulate that and get it correct and accurate rather than starting from scratch. That's just my personal opinion. And if you're already good at organizing one area of your life, maybe it's just another area of your home or your car or one drawer in your kitchen that has like compartments in it that you put everything in the way that it's supposed to go. I promise that you can apply the same tools to keeping your books up to date for your business. So here's what you can ask yourself. What does my process look like for organizing the bathroom cabinets or my pantry that is Pinterest worthy? Then you're going to break down that process into its most basic steps. You also need to pay attention to what you do in your environment to work on organizing this area of your home. And by that, I mean, do you listen to podcasts? Do you have audiobooks that you listen to? Do you have to work on this project only while the kids are at school? And so you're not being interrupted every 5 seconds. This is what we call a system, my friends. And it's what I teach you in part 3 of the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit. So after you learn how to set up your books, you learn how to do data entry, how to reconcile your bank accounts in the kit, you'll then establish the system that you need to keep coming back and doing this work regularly. Consistency is key, and it's what prevents you from feeling overwhelmed and behind at tax filing time. A good set of books that's accurate and accessible means that you can actually look at your reports and make good business decisions based on that data. If you want to learn not only my system for bookkeeping, but organizing your financial life in general, then you need to start with the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit. You will also get 30 days free inside my private virtual community with me and my clients because we're ready to help you through this curriculum. Grab your Bookkeeping Foundation Kit from the link in the description below. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, share this video with another business owner that really struggles with their bookkeeping. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.